Hey everyone, a Nerd Named Mark here, and it's time to review episode 17 of Kamen Rider Gavv. Wait, I just realized I didn't review episode 16 because of the holiday and I had other stuff going on, which I don't need to talk about here. It was posted on social media. You know what? Shit. Hey, alright, here's what we're gonna do. Quick camera cut. I'm gonna talk about episode 16 really quick and come right back. Alright, so yeah, I completely forgot about episode 16 due to the holidays and everything else going on. So I'm going to do something new. I'm going to put a 1 minute timer on the clock. And I'm going to see if I can recap the main points of this episode in a minute so I can jump back and go to episode 17 and talking about that. So let's place that up there and let's start the countdown. All right, so in episode 16, we continue where we left off. This time, Hanto has been captured by our crab granite. And while being captured, we find out that Largo 9 has been capturing and doing a great job. And they're happy he's addicted to dark treats, which is Lango and Gloto are talking about. And we find out he doesn't really care about them. He tossed them aside and said he needs to build up more trust with them. So obviously there's something going on there. Meanwhile, Shoma is trying to find out where Hanto is, as well as Hanto is fake being captured now to try and get more information on Stomach Inc. The cool thing about all this is they're really building up that Hanto thinks Shoma's up to something, and Shoma doesn't know how to approach this whole thing. Meanwhile, Nelv, using Dente's research and Shuga's research, is building a driver, which we already know what that's going to be. Obviously, that's the main thing. Everything else that happened was Hanto and Shoma defeated our crab granite. There you go. That's it. That's really it. That's everything that happened. Like, ta-da. With that being said, I'm going to jump back over and I'm going to talk about episode 17 because a lot happened in there. We got a debut and I want to really talk about that. All right. I'm not going to lie. I glossed over some things there in that 1 minute review of episode 16 because honestly, 17, we got so much. I know it's a two-parter, but we got so much. We got Vlan's debut. Ugh. I wasn't sold on the suit except for the helmet. But seeing the henshin and everything else in motion, I was like, you know what? I like that suit. I like this character a lot. But I'm getting ahead of myself because we had a lot building up to the debut of Kamen Rider Vram or Vlan. I don't know. It's one of those. I see people spelling it VLAM and then VRAM. So I don't know if it's Vram or Vlan. I'm gonna say Vram. So we got a lot building up to that because this was towards the latter half, towards the end of the episode. We got a new, now that our crab granite is gone, we have a new, I guess, granite of the week, but not really of the week because they're still around, which is like a bird pelican type creature. They are going around and capturing people who are basically kind. They're using their kindness as a weakness to capture them as a female human whose scarf they can control and blows away, and they capture people when they go to get it for them. And there was a big part of this episode where I literally finally thought Sachiko was going to be kidnapped and pressed because our trio is basically going around trying to find, oh, I have a kitten. Hi, baby. I'm trying to record. Yeah, I'm trying to record. So the three of them are trying to actually find what's going on with missing people because now everything Lage 9 was doing has kind of made some waves around the community of mass disappearances because he's going in to different places like a theater, a courtroom, a seminar for the elderly to not be scammed during the holidays. So, you know, it's finally made some they finally got on their radar and they're looking into it. And then also on top of it, we have individuals, usually younger people who are kind, going missing. So they're spread out, trying to figure out what's going on. And I like also, there's still this tension beneath the surface between Hanto and Shoma. You know, Shoma's still wondering, you know, what is he going to do when if Hanto finds out he's a granite as my kitten takes the mic away from me. What are you doing, baby? Hi. I know, you can't be on camera right now. I'm trying to record. Go make biscuits over there. So, and Hanto at the same time at one point second guesses Shoma because when Sachika's about to get pressed by the Granute, who's still in human form, Shoma shows up, Hanto shows up as well, and Hanto's mad at him for letting him the Granute go while they were still in him. They weren't sure that it was a Granute at the time, but Shoma pulls up. Well, if it was and I confronted it, Sachika would have been put in danger. And even Hanto's just like, I doubted him again. We see the flashback still to when they were kidnapped, and Shoma was so adamant not to go into the stomach world, because the Granute world, so to speak, because it would be dangerous, and he's still suspicious. He's like, something was up with him. And so there's this tension, and I feel like this episode and everything, now that Vram is in play, is really going to be the catalyst for Hanto and Shoma to finally have this confrontation, because now we know a Granute can turn into a Kamen Rider, which means now it's like Hanto can suspect that maybe Shoma is one, because up until now, Hanto's under the impression that only a human can transform. So there's a lot of context in the seed planting in this episode. Also, Loggy 9, I like his attitude. He's cool. We don't like, it's obvious he's up to something. And when Nelv confronts him and he's just like, I got a side gig for you that's just between us. And he's like, the reward could be dark treats or whatever you want. And he's just like, you could be, he's like, I could be myself around you. And he just turns really cold and lazy. He's like, I'm just chill. Like, he's very laid back, doesn't put forth the extra energy if he doesn't have to. And I was like, I appreciate that. I understand that. I identify with the chill, like, I want to kick back and relax type of vibes. And the main thing that we got in this episode was Vram's debut, the fight. One thing I will say, when Malin and Gavv were fighting our bird Granute, I enjoyed that they're getting more synergy and more in sync when they fight. I'm really enjoying a lot of their combo stuff and this and that. And you even have Hanto kind of like guiding everything, being like, hey, step on this, use the punch, and then, Gavv uses the kicking gummy to kick the handle of his axe, because he's using a bushel form, to kind of springboard him up in the air to catch the Granute. And I was like, I kind of like the teamwork. They're getting more in sync with each other. It's great. It's very entertaining. But one of my favorite parts was mid-fight. They're about to finish off the Granute, and Loggy 9 just kind of like walks into frame, causing them to misdirect their attacks because they think it's a human getting involved. And then we find out, no, that's not the case. And the cool thing is, Shoma bumped into him earlier, showing him his phone, being like, hey, have you seen this person? And he's like, I seen you earlier. So it's kind of what, one thing I did realize though is like Shoma being part Granute. And then also there was a confrontation between Loggy 9 and our other Granute when they're in their human forms. They can't sense each other. Like, I always was wondering, like, oh, do they know when they're around and this and that? Like, how do they keep from capturing each other? And it was one of those things where I was like, so there's no real, like, spidey sense, or hey, or like with vampires, in vampire movies and this and that, when vampires can kind of tell they're around other vampires, stuff like that. There was no, like, okay, there's a Granute nearby. Like, there's no, you can interact with a Granute in their human skin form and not know that they're a Granute, and vice versa. So I was like, okay. So I did enjoy what led to the Henshin. And I thought it was really cool that Loggy 9 went from his human form to his Granute form. And I don't know what the name of it is. Yes, I'm going to call it the Vram driver. Like, he puts it into the stomach, and then he gets a little pudding. And I was like, the Henshin itself, I loved it. I didn't realize all the little details, like the antennas on the side of the helmet are spoons. And I was like, that's cool. I like that. And then the fighting, like, we got two really good fight choreographed scenes in this episode. The first fight with the Granute, and then this one as well. And I'm not gonna lie, poor Valen, because he's been taking some L's lately in fights, and this man Vram like beat the brakes off of him. Like dodged his bullets, sat on him, and hit his face into the concrete. Then took Gavv's own sword and used his own attack on him, back on him on his shoulder, just grabbed the sword and hit him with it. And I was just like, damn, he's beating the brakes off of these two. Like, and I'm like, the power scaling, because I was like, well, Gavv was in his popping gummy form. Valen was in his Bushel form. So I was like, all right, we didn't get the K-King form or White Child. So like, I'm sure K-King will put like a little more, maybe a little more even. I'm not sure. He got his ass beat. That's all I'm saying. He got his ass beat. They both did. And everything about this rider is menacing, but in a laid back way. He's not like dark, like gloomy, like brooding. Like, it's bright colored form. He's sliding on his knees, punching, like doing cool moves and like counters. And I'm like, I like this, because something about this guy being an antagonist right now, because I'm not going to say a main villain or an evil rider right now, because we don't know where he stands with Stomach Inc. Obviously, he has his own motivations, which is why he kind of likes Nelv, because Nelv, has his own separate motivations as well, which I think is why he's working with him. We don't know what his full motivations are, what he actually wants, because it wasn't until Nelv said, you can have dark treats or whatever it is you want, and then that's when he kind of perked up, like, anything I want? Anything? Okay. But that's like, the fighting is so good. So, but I just like the form, the colors scheme on the form. I wasn't sold on it when I saw scans and this and that, but then seeing everything in motion in the episode, the fighting, everything else, I was like, bro. If you see me on Twitter, I already put out a little tweet with a photo, and I tagged someone, and I was like, I like that helmet. We may have to have a conversation, because I actually really like that helmet a lot. So I'm looking forward to next week's episode, which is like the second part of this one. I didn't watch the preview. I don't normally watch the previews, but yeah, I think this is the pacing and everything leading up in the show right now, even when they had the week off and everything else. Like, I'm here, like, it's really good. Like, I'm really enjoying this show, and I'm hard pressed to say that this is one of the better episodes of a season so far that has been very consistently good. And, being 17 episodes in and we getting our third Kamen Rider in the show isn't bad. We also have had a lot of forms, which I think is why I'm also really enjoying everything, because, we know there's Gochizos that haven't been used yet. And we don't even know if they'll ever be, which ones might be just weapons, which ones are full forms. Like, we don't know a lot of stuff. So it's like, we're still continuing to kind of not be thrown too many forms and this and that. It doesn't seem over congested right now. Even from a Granute standpoint, we're not getting a Granute of the week every week. We had the Crab Granute for quite some time. Same with the Hermit Crab one. Now we have the Bird one. So it's like, starting off the first couple episodes, yeah, there's a Granute every week. But now I'm like, they're not, the pacing and just how much we're given is so well balanced that I'm like, you know what? This is good. I like this. But that is it for episode 17 of Kamen Rider Gavv. Let me know in the comments below what you think of Vram's debut, or Vlam. I don't know. I'll figure out the name. Okay, I will. I know. Listen, I have a track record. You go all the way back to when I was talking about Saber when it was airing every week. I mess up names. I'm going to mess up a lot of names. This one, I'm like, I'll figure it out by next week's episode, if it's Vram or Vlan or Vlan or Vlan, whatever. But let me know in the comments below what you thought of this episode. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video. I got some other stuff coming up. And if you haven't already seen it, I had a This Week in Candy Toys that actually showed the debut of Vram. And he's actually going to be in the Soto set that's coming out next Monday, already on the 13th, which I'm excited for. So make sure you go check out that video as well. I thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.